And here we go. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And we have volume and everything set up to go. So you'd think I would know what I'm doing after all this time, but hey, stranger things have happened. So hopefully you checked out. I had two videos yesterday. One was a PGX unboxing that I got my 4 comics back. Very happy overall with the grades that I received. And today is the 4 books that I am going to be sending to PGX to get graded. Always love doing this, as I've told people on many occasions, but I'll always assume there's at least one new person watching this, whether it's live or later on. I contacted about 6 years ago, over 6 years ago, contacted CGC, CBCS, and PGX, asking any of these companies if they would be willing to allow me to send in a couple of books to get graded for some, promotional information on my videos. CGC never responded, CBCS never responded, PGX was the only one at the time that responded to my initial messages. This is before EGS was ever created at that point, or at least before I even heard of them. And I've been working with them ever since. As usual, I let people know, full disclosure, do not have a contract signed with them. I do not get paid by them to do these videos. I am under no obligation to be restricted from what I say. I say only my shared experience, which has been nothing pretty much but positive over the years. I mean, I think there's maybe been 4 or 5 mistakes in the 6 years where I've been sending 4 comics in every month, and that's going to happen with any company. But overall, if I thought they were doing a horrible job, whether I was getting them free or not, I mean, obviously I have to pay for shipping back and forth and everything, but if they were doing a horrible job or destroying my comics, do you think I'd keep grading them with them? So keep that in mind when you're listening to certain channels out there in the YouTube comic book quote-unquote community. Be very careful. So all I'm doing is sharing my experience. Whether you resonate with it or not, that's up to you to decide. I'm not here to make false claims or edit videos or only give partial information. I try and give the best information I can with my shared experience, and you'll decide whether you want to utilize that knowledge and information or not. So with that being said, like I said, I get 4 books that I send in every month from PGX. I get them pressed, dry cleaned, graded with added grader's notes, which was my idea. Daniel Patterson, the owner of PGX, was kind enough to listen to my idea, and I wish all grading companies would do this. I basically get that for free, so I get 4 of them every month for free, so that benefits me. The benefit to them is they'll get business from me. Hopefully they'll have people that have watched my videos over the years and maybe try them for the first time or continue to use them. And I wanted to make sure there's a benefit for you. So if you want to try them, you've never used PGX before, all you have to do is, if you send in 10 or more books and use the code We Love Comics Free Press, they will press one of the comics for free. I always recommend indicate which one you'd like pressed, otherwise they're just going to pick one randomly. And if you'd like to have the grader's notes added to the back of your slab, it is an option. It's not something that's required. It's like, getting the fancy labels and everything. But I'd rather have the grader's notes and pay money for that than have just a picture of Wolverine or something. But that's just me and my personal preference. But if you use the code We Love Comics grader's notes and indicate you would like the grader's notes added to the back of your slab, it's $5 per slab. And it just makes a company more transparent. And if you're eventually going to sell or trade one of your books, it's nice to have that information right there so people don't have to look it up or it's not available. And as usual, if you want them to email you the greatest notes, they'll do that for free. But it is a nice option. So if you could see by my AI art, which I know some of you love and some of you just do not like where technology is going, all I can say is never fear technology, because for whatever loss you have, there's going to be so many other gains. Look towards the positive. But you'll see a bunch of comics like Batman 2, Wonder Woman 1, Showcase 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, Journey into Mystery, Tales of Suspense 39, All-Star Comics 8, and others, especially Amazing Fantasy 15. I would love to acquire one of those. As of now, I do not have the money to buy one of those. But I do have plenty of comics where I have multiple copies where I can do trades to hopefully acquire one or all of those books from people out there. So if you know anybody on Instagram or social networks that I do not have, because I don't have social networks. I mean, I have Facebook, but that's basically just to have, friends and some family. I just don't use the social networks. But if you know anybody out there in the social network area or on YouTube that has maybe one of these books they're looking to do a trade with, have them contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and have them watch the video that I did back around November of last year, where I show about between 30 and 35 graded comics that I got. I think primarily almost all of them were graded by myself. They were all raw and then graded myself, so you don't have to worry about any switching problems with other companies. Go check that out and contact me. And if it takes 20 of the comics to get one that I want, if it's a valid trade, I absolutely will do it. Also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, after this video is uploaded, I'm going to start another video about 2 to 5 minutes after this one shuts down. So it'll be another video not connected to this one. So you'll have to go back to my channel to watch that. But I always do the 2 books that I send in with EGS right after this. So I just recently started a deal with them, and we'll go over that later. So check in the live chat right now. You'll see I also sell comic book mystery boxes. These help support me and my family, which consists of my wife and about probably 25 stray cats, including the ones that I have inside the house and the ones that periodically will show up randomly. It's amazing how they'll find you. But it's a way to contribute to my channel and get something in return. The mystery boxes start anywhere from a package of 20 comics, which is a basic package for $25, up to a platinum package of 20 comics for $5,000. And there's plenty of different ranges in between. And let me tell you, the bigger packages, you're going to get some key issues. You're not getting any generic run comics or anything that's just trash. So hopefully you'll check that out. If you do click the link, you'll see my website. It'll say Peaceful Feelings. You'll see a bunch of pyramids and soaps and things like that. Just scroll down to the bottom until you see the comic book section. All right, so there goes my rambling. 10 people are viewing right now. I cannot see how many people hit the like button. So if you want to do that, that's great. If not, perfectly fine. But let's put on the video camera so I can show you the 4 comics that I'm sending out. If you've been watching my channel in the past month or so, you're pretty much going to know the 4 comics that I'm sending out, because all 4 of these I got this year. And as a matter of fact, I have more comics this year that I've won on eBay than I did all of last year. So at least for me, 2024, at least where comic books are concerned, things are going in the right direction. And, like I've told people, I've been unemployed since October of last year. And things are actually better than when I was employed. Go figure. So, no, I'm not on welfare. No, I'm not taking government subsidies or anything. I have auctions from every now and then. Have savings. I have plenty of investments I've had over the years. And I'm just enjoying almost like a retirement. And spending my time with my wife and my cats. So very happy about that. So let's go over the books, because that's why you're here. And Brian Norman, as of now, is the only one in the live chat. So if he's the only one in there, it's going to make it pretty easy for a surprise subscriber shout out. Won't be much of a surprise, but always good to see you. He's watching from work. Don't get yourself in trouble, and hopefully you're not flying a plane as a job. So, be careful. Don't get yourself in trouble. All right, so the first book we have is X-Men number 266, which of course is arguably the first appearance of Gambit, although that is debatable with Avengers Annual 10, but I'm sorry, not Avengers Annual 10, X-Men Annual, I forget the number. It's been a while since I've even seen that comic, but forgive me for the brain fart. But the Annual has more than just a cameo appearance, but this is the one that people have more desire for, because it is, let's face it, a better cover. Now, this is not only a newsstand variant, this is a Mark Jewelers variant. So this is the rarest of the rarest, because like I've said before, The total print runs, which I don't have the total print run for this comic. I couldn't find it. So if anybody knows, let me know. But only 2% of the entire print run is Mark Jeweler variants. Now, how many of those got thrown out or destroyed or lost or had the Mark Jewelers, you know, either partially or completely torn out? These were only delivered to military bases. So, especially in higher grade, these are the rarest of the rare of these particular books. So, I just have a sneaking suspicion that when you see that Deadpool 3 trailer and they show that backup of what looks like the back of Wolverine as Patch with the white suit, I will be shocked if the person on the other side of the table, which you could see for a second about to deal a card, so there is somebody there, I will be shocked if it's not Gambit. Now, I don't think he'll be in Gambit costume, but I think they'll make it abundantly clear who that person is they're hiding. Because there's always a reason why they hide stuff. So that is my guess, that I really think it's going to be Gambit, just not in costume. I'd love to see him in this costume. I always, believe it or not, it's one of the few times I think, like, this is like a purplish pink that actually looks cool. And people obviously gravitated to it because when this book first came out, and I bought a couple of copies when this first came out, everybody loved the character. And this is why I think this one's more desirable than the annual, even though, like I say, and many people will agree, it's not a cameo in that book. I think it's because of this cover, and he's on it. And, you know, the crowd is going to dictate what's more desirable. And that's why you'll see Hulk 181 more valuable and more desirable than Hulk 180, even though these days, when you get a brand new comic and they have a cameo of somebody, people go crazy. Oh, that's the first appearance. And yet they'll shy away from books like Hulk 180. It just makes no sense to me. But I paid a total of $331.09 for this comic. It is a higher grade, but not going to be a 9.8 because there's about 3, maybe 4 color break increases. They're not huge. They're just kind of maybe a half an inch or less in 4 spots. So I'm going to grade this lower than what I might normally do because I'd rather be wrong and it be higher than have it be wrong and be lower. I mean, I don't care either way. I mean, obviously I don't want this to come back as 0.5, which it won't. But I'm going to say it's about an 8.0 to a 9.0. Now, pressings obviously will help this book, but it cannot help color break increases. So with those 4, it might even be higher than that. But like I said, I'd rather be wrong and it'd be higher because I'm not the best when it comes to grading high-grade books because I get so many low-grade books. All right, here's another book that I got recently. Even the person that I bought this from said I got it for a steal. Now, this one wasn't a best offer. This was an actual auction. So I was very surprised I got this one as low as I did. This is Secret Wars number 8, which, of course, we know has to do with the origin of the symbiotic suit, which later becomes Venom. This is also a newsstand variant, and is also a Mark Jewelers variant. So again, only 2% of the entire print run, and this is another comic I do not know what the entire print run was. So if anybody knows that information, please put it out there in the comment section, or if you're live, put it in the live section. But no matter what it is, only 2% of them were Mark Jewelers variants. So I like collecting these. Now this is another one that's not going to be a 9.8 because there is a little, probably what was a tape tear. It's like the size, it's a tiny little, it's almost like a hole puncher in a way, a little bit smaller than a hole puncher size, but some of the yellow got ripped off and it did take a pinhole that goes only through the cover. It doesn't go past that. And there is a tiny little bit of, not a crush, but a tiny little bit of a dent. It's barely noticeable. Right there. So again, I'm going to be conservative with this one. Other than that, I mean, the colors on this pop, I'm not sure. There's either one color break there or it's part of the artwork. I'm not really sure because that's frustrating sometimes when the artwork goes to the edges and you can't tell if it's a piece of the artwork or it's an actual color break increase. Now this one will improve from a pressing because it has a little bit of an indent here, not much, it's very slight. Pressing will absolutely help that. But color-wise, it's nice and bright orange. I paid a total of $226.95. I'm going to predict with this one between an 8.5 and a 9.2. With white pages, and by the way, the other one I said off-white to white pages. So we'll see where that goes. These two are the potential high grades, because even the people that sold them to me said these are high grade, and I do not see any flaws. But when it comes to something that is as rare as this and potentially has 9.8 potential, I'm not opening it up other than when I check to, one, make sure that the Mark Jewelers variant is in there, because this is a Mark Jewelers variant, and also, well, you'll see the other thing, the tattoos. So the tattoos are in here. This is another Mark Jewelers variant. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 238. This is one of the rarer ones of all of them, because I think I've seen maybe 3 or 4 of these ever for sale. So there's not a lot of these in circulation. So if you can get your hands on this, absolutely a book to get. Make sure it has the tattoos. I have a video that I made years ago showing the tattoos, so check that out if you don't know what I'm talking about with this book. This, of course, is the first appearance of the Hobgoblin, which, remember, ladies and gentlemen, you know, Ned Leeds is in the Spider-Man universe, and Ned Leeds is the person that turns into the Hobgoblin. And remember, the last movie, they end up forgetting who Peter Parker is, so they have no memory of Peter Parker, so that would make it easier. And I think it's foreshadowing where, remember in the middle of that movie when we had all 3 Peter Parkers in the lab making stuff to go and cure the enemies. Ned Leeds was talking to the original Peter Parker, and he was talking about how his best friend turned evil, and Spider-Man had to kill him. Ned Leeds goes to our version of Spider-Man and says, you know, I promise I will never turn evil and I'll never kill you, where, you know, the Spider-Man's like, okay. But now that he no longer has memory of Peter Parker, the possibility of him becoming evil for whatever reason and becoming the Hobgoblin would seem more likely and easier to be able to have happen, because if they're friends, it's going to be very hard to do that. But now that they've had the whole world forget who Peter Parker is, Ned Leeds has the chance of becoming the Hobgoblin. Many people don't think about those kind of things, but like I always say to people, I think about things in the future, not just at the moment. So for me, it just makes sense that with that memory loss and with them focusing on that, which was never an issue in the movie that I just described, in the Spider-Man movie, where he said he'd never kill him, I think that's foreshadowing. Now, of course, that doesn't guarantee that's going to happen, but that's why you take chances when it comes to investments. So with this one, I spent a little bit more, but it is a higher grade book. At least we'll find out when I get it graded. I paid $809.67 for this book, which, believe it or not, if this comes back a 9.6 or a 9.8, I'm going to do well, because a 9.8 of this book is about 10 grand. So I am predicting this one to be about a 9.4 to a 9.8 with white pages. Absolutely looking forward to this one and the last one to come back graded. So I am definitely excited about that, because the same thing with this one. If this comes back a 9.8, it's about a $12,000 to $14,000 book as of now, and I think it's going to get more and more valuable. So we got also Huff House Art in the live chat, and I want to thank, so far we got 16 people watching. I do not know how many people hit the like button because it does not say anymore, but I'm sure somebody did. So if you did, thank you. If you didn't, if you want to, that's awesome. But here is the last book. We've got New Mutants 98. I ended up getting this right before the trailer ended up coming out. I mean, talk about coincidence, luck, or, you know, having foresight. This is also a Mark Jewelers variant in high grade. If this comes back a 9.8, This is about a $14,000 book. So I took the chance with this where many people said they wouldn't have taken the chance on it. I paid $856, includes shipping and handling. It does need a little pressing because it has 1 or 2 non-color breaking creases. So with PGX's really good job of doing pressings and dry cleanings, I am very confident they're going to get them out. But of course, there's no guarantee. So I'm going to stick with my usual 9.4 to 9.8. Even at a 9.4, I'm going to do well. 9.6, I'm definitely going to do well. And at 9.8, I'm going to clean up on this one. So I would love to have that happen, because that'll definitely help us be able to afford our forever home. That's why primarily I collect the comics at this point. It's, you know, I want my wife to have a great home, so when I'm gone, she doesn't have to worry anymore. So 9498 white pages, paid $856. So all 4 of these books are the Mark Jewelers variants. I highly recommend, if you can acquire one of these, please do. Remember, they have to have, with the modern books, the barcode, but that does not necessarily mean that if it doesn't have a barcode, that it can't have it, because you'll have books like Amazing Spider-Man number 129, Hulk number 180, just for examples, that were in the Bronze Age before the barcodes, that have the Mark Jewelers variants. So if you have a Hulk 180 or Amazing Spider-Man 129 or somewhere in the mid-70s from both Marvel and DC, if you've never opened it, first of all, you should, because you want to make sure books like the Hulk 180 or 181 has the Marvel value stamp. But you never know. You might have a gold mine in there with a Mark Jewelers variant. And if you don't know what those are, just watch some of the videos I did this year, and I show every time what they are. It's just basically an advertisement, but it was only sent to military bases, and just makes it very rare. So definitely books to acquire, especially when people talk about, oh, they don't want to touch a book like New Mutants 98 because of the high print run. Well, the print run of New Mutants 98, that one I do have the print run of, not the exact amount, but they estimated between 225,000 to 250,000 copies. So 2% of that is 4,500 to 5,000 copies. Now, let's say there were 5,000 copies of the Mark Jewelers variant. That's not a lot in itself, but how many of them are still available? How many of those are complete? How many of those are in high grade? And how many of those are in mega high grade like 9.8s? These are the things to consider when you're investing. But you use your money any way you want. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I am about to pick the surprise subscriber shoutouts, and it is not going to be much of a surprise because we have a grand total of 2 people in the live chat. I do understand, you know, it is a Tuesday afternoon, so most people are probably working. Like Brian said, he's actually watching from work, and I'm sure many people, when they're at work, do not have the opportunity or the luxury to watch my videos at the time. But it shows, you know, when you're unemployed and, you know, you're living at home, you have plenty of free time to do this stuff. So, surprise subscriber shoutouts are no surprise. So, Brian Norman and Huff House Art, you are both today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. Obviously, you've both been here before, so just in case, if you want to post a comment when the video uploads to a link to either your YouTube channel or a specific video, you can. If you'd rather post a link to one of your social networks, you can do that instead. Or if you sell anything on Amazon or eBay or any of those places and you'd rather promote something that you're selling, by all means, please do. That does not have to be comic book related. It just has to be, you know, user-friendly stuff. In other words, it's got to be something that even a child could look at. So I'm not going to promote prank channels, not going to promote somebody selling pornographic materials, adult content. But if you post a link, it will go straight into spam because I have to verify it first. Keeps the trolls away from spamming my channel and trying to put links to something that somebody may not want to see. So if you do see a link in the comment section, it means it has been verified. So please go support our community. And let's show them how a real comic book community is. So thanks for watching. If you want to take the time to post anything about my AI art or the comics I'm sending in, please do. I love reading your comments. And thank you for those that are watching. I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Like I said, I'm going to shut this one down. I'm going to start a new video with the 2 ETS books I'm going to be sending out. So hopefully you'll come back and watch that. And it's not you, it's not I. It is We Love Comics. Enjoy the rest of your day.